Good afternoon, February the 4th, 2016. Time to wrap it up for the day. Wow, what a day we had today. Just this volatility creates so many trading opportunities. And today there were 19 trades possible. We only count 3 points for our winners. There were some huge trades today. That was 51 points. We had 2 losers for -6, so we ended up netting 45 points. A great day. We came in early wanting to be sellers. We saw a trading range market with tomorrow's non-farm payroll numbers holding the market in check. Then was most likely to be crude driven. So we came in wanting to sell 4 to 9s. That gave us a good trade out of this area. Our second sell was 14 to 19s. The market did make it up above 21. That gave us a trade out of this area. And like I said, the market was crude driven. Just starting out the day, there were several trades that you could have taken, including a loser before the market opened. But just starting with when the market opened, the first trade of the day was a retest failure, endearingly termed the tweezer by one of our room members. That gave you 9 points if you traded it perfectly. A V bottom right here gave you 7 if you traded it perfectly. S over this bar gave you 4. Another tweezer pattern V bottom gave you 12 if you traded it perfectly. Software driven trade, B under the bar 4, B under the bar 3. Beautiful retest failure trade that gave you 13. Software driven trade, S over the bar 3. Software driven trade 7. This buy was a loser for 3. This retest failure trade was good for 7. This S was good for 3. This V bottom was good for 6. This S was a scratch. This retest failure trade, given where we got into it up in here, ended up being a scratch. This S was a loser. This buy was a scratch, and this retest failure was the last big trade of the day for 7. V bottom gave you 3. Then it was into chop. So 19 trades possible, 51 points, only taking 3 points for a winner, 6 points, losers, 45 points. Great day trading. Hey, come visit us. We can show you what we do live, real time. We trade crude, gold, the euro, 30-year bond, 10-year note, and the E-mini. You get to see the software, the trade setups work on a real-time basis. You get to see me take 3 to 5 trades a day, show you how to read the tape. Looking forward to seeing the main room for your 5-day free trial offer. Good afternoon, February the 4th, 2016. Another huge day trading. Just lots of volatility, lots of movement, big moves. Very, very busy day if you took every trade. There were 21 trades possible. We only count 6 30-seconds for our winners, or what we make on the trade with reversing stops. We had 3 losers, so we ended up netting 66 30-seconds, or $2,062. Big day. Just lots of opportunity to make money today. Make your business plan several times over. First trade of the day, this B was good for 2. That B, a monkey trade, was good for 11 if you traded it perfectly. A V top, good for 14 if you traded it perfectly. A mean green trade got you 9. Retest failure trade here got you 4. Another mean green trade got you 13 if you traded it. A V top got you 14 if you traded it perfectly. This little trade right here, we were in it stopping out, so we weren't able to get it. Took a mean green trade here, lost 4 30-seconds. A retest failure trade right. Another mean green trade right here that got you 6 to 8. This V bottom trade was a scratch. This B, software generated, gave you 22. That was the trade of the day. This B just gave you 7. Another V top gave you 12 if you traded it perfectly. Another V top gave you 9 if you traded it perfectly. This V top, because that bar was so long, ended up being a scratch under our rules. This V bottom gave us 7. Buy was a scratch. We took our profits right here. We did not reverse. A V bottom right here got us 2. Another retest failure trade got us 2. This V bottom got us upwards of 2 if you traded it perfectly. We had another loser in here. Market came back in our face on this V bottom. That was a loser. So 21 trades possible, 78 30-seconds gross. We only count 6 30-seconds on our winners. Huge day. If you're not trading well and whatever it is, come take a look at the bond. It really is a contract and can put money in the account. Like to know more about us, we're going to give you 5 free days in the main trading room where we trade crude, gold, the euro, the 30-year bond, 10-year note, and the E-mini. We concentrate on the E-mini, crude, and the bond. You get to see us trade live, real time. Get to see how the methodology works. Get to see how the live trading works. Looking forward to seeing you in the main room for your 5-day free trial offer. Good morning, February the 5th, 2016, and maybe the biggest news day of the month. We have non-farm payroll numbers today, looking for 190. It has been running at 200 at 205, so this number has come down, reflecting a softening economy. Unemployment at 5%. Work week, which is the third number they look at to confirm the first two, 34.5. And earnings, plus 0.3. The default usually is plus 0.2. Trade balance, minus 43. And Baker Hughes, last week was 850, I believe. Comes out at 1 Eastern. Now, based on today's news, for the market to rally, they want to see this number less than 190. And why do they want to see it less than 190? Makes it harder for the Fed to raise interest rates. And if they were to catch a number, let's say like 100,000, then the assumption would be they can't raise interest rates at all in 2016 by stocks. It's backwards. Earnings are coming down. Revenues, sales are coming down. Earnings are coming down. The dollar is stressing multinational capabilities of making money. Our tax policy continues to get worse. Obama last night proposed a $10 per barrel tax on crude oil. And this guy, as far as building economy goes, is 180 degrees out of phase. So, again, industrial and tax policy determines your economy. And if you wonder why Europe, they get a static if they get a 1% growth rate, it's because of all the rules and regulation and taxing. Actually, their tax policies for industry and capital are lower than ours. And why has the United States historically been able to average over 3%? Because of our industrial and tax policy, and now we have the highest corporate tax in the world. So everything that's being done is being done to enhance the power of Washington D.C. and to at the expense of the broad economy and the economic well-being of its population, and that's going to continue until something big changes. So here we find ourselves, unemployment news. If you know the news, you have the trade, and you have to take that trade before the news because the liquidity is not there on the news. If you buy stop or sell stop into a position, you're likely to fill in the high or the low of that particular move. So the way institutions and large players trade it, if they have a very strong feeling to be in about what the number is going to be, they won't trade a full position. They'll trade a partial position. And they will be able to make the same amount of money as they could with a full position given the extra volatility. Okay, a newsday trade for us is that the market moves. You've got your mode or mean in the middle. You got your value area low or high. And you have the where the market was when the news hit. And let's say the market was right here. So the first place to get in, say the market trades up, is a tick inside the mode mean, whichever one's closer. If they're really wide apart, you can split them. Second place to get in would be lean against the value area low, and the third place would be where the news hits. Quite often, several hours later, we will get back to where the news hits the market. And then it usually goes back up. So our recommendation is enter on the correction if you're nimble. Sometimes you got to be there 20 to 30 seconds after the news hits. Then if the market in this case fails to trade higher, take out this high right here, exit the trade. Now this requires some trading skills. You got to be nimble, you got to be fast, you have to be able to know what you're doing. If this requires too high a skill level for you, let the market make its move. It'll come back and it'll seek support. It'll then come back up and try to retest this high. And if this high holds, we're going to move into development. You'll see what's called developing value. And at developing value, you're going to be trading like on the 10-year plus or minus 2 to 3 30 seconds, on the 30-year plus or minus 6 to 8 30 seconds, on the E-mini plus or minus 5 points. And with the idea that you will trade back into the middle, sometimes cross the entire value area, but we're in development now. The news is out, it's been absorbed by the market, and people are just going to work it and trade it. So that's where we are. The focus is non-farm payroll. The whipsaw comes from unemployment. And for the market to rally, they'd be looking for a number less than 190. Now, especially less than probably 150 to 170. That would be an area. If it comes in like 210 to 220, then the Fed can raise interest rates come March and sell stocks based on earnings per share, etc. So, if you want to place a scoop order out there, usually 20, 24, 30 seconds on the 10-year will do it. So you got a limit sell, but I've seen it over a point. I've seen it sometimes at 12 to 16. It just, again, if you know the news, you have the trade, but usually 20 to 24 points away from the market when the news hits will get you a counter trade that sometimes can end up being pretty close to the high or the low. So that's the way to play it. Now, if we didn't have news right now, we'd be selling 19s to 23s, 27s to 31s. On the buy side, pointed higher, so 13s, 9s to 13s, and then 1 to 5. So those would be your what the market's going to be looking at. Even after the news, it'll come back and look at these points. Same problem with all contracts this morning we're going to have is, and that's why we recommend a newsday trade. So we're just going to look at where support and resistance are, or is, depending on what part of the country you live in. Where is that resistance? It are here. That's for those of you that come from East Tennessee. My wife is from Memphis, and she has always reminded me that she's from the smart end of the state, and I'm from the IQ challenge portion of the state. Okay, here we are at 63.05. Last rotate up stopped at 10. We've got an end period high at 13. So selling failure to take out 8 to 12. Then have this rotation up in range extension. We got 63.30. We've got a high here at 19. So 19 to 23 would be sell 2. Picking up basically the top of value, that value area high. On the buy side, we've got support at 28 to the buck, buy 1. Then we'll make it 12 to 16. And on the 30-year, if you want a scoop order, 30, a full point away, 30 seconds is where you would have it. So if the news were to hit right here at 63.06, you would have a sell at 64.06 or a buy at 62.06. Gold made another new high last night. And so it's trading up out of fear. Okay, we said, right, we got this low volume at 60 and a half. We come through that, next stop is 66. So sell 1, 60, 62. Sell 2, 65, 67. Now gold, the bond, the note, and the E-mini can all rally like a number comes in 150 to 170. Gold and the treasuries will rally because of economic softness. Stock market can rally because the Fed can't raise interest rates. And it doesn't seem logical, but this market is not controlled by traditional fundamentals. It's just, what is the Fed going to do? News algos and high frequency trading. I put a good article up there on high frequency trading. You see the guy's tweets come out regularly. He's where everybody goes to see how the market was manipulated or where fraud is. It's amazing to me that, well, it's not amazing. The CFTC, SEC, exchanges, they go after one little guy so they can show that they've done something. They don't go after Citadel or Virtue, or, isn't that a great name for a company, Virtue, that front run? Like everything else this day, quite often the meaning is the opposite of what the word is. It's for the children. It's not for politicians. I don't know if it was George Carlin or somebody. Somebody said, you know, some comedian said, if a politician comes up and says it's for the children, run like hell with your hand on your wallet. Okay, we had a 12.15, 12.25, excuse me, 25.35 sell last night. We just touched 25, so right now 20 to 30 would be sell 1. On the euro, if the number comes in higher than forecast, the euro should sell. If the number comes in lower than forecast, the euro should rally, because our economy at this moment in time is softer than theirs. 111.75 by 1, 111.50 by 2. This market can get huge moves. I'd say 50 points above or below if you wanted a scoop order. Sometimes it's moved 100 ticks, not points. Okay, crude was selling a little bit when I came in. Fundamentals say that it should be sold. I think the most interesting article about on crude was one on Boone Pickens, who a couple of weeks ago was up there touting energy's coming back maybe as high as $70 a barrel by the end of the year. And Boone Pickens, who is old and estate planning and everything else, like, is certainly a part of it. Supposedly in the news has liquidated all his oil holdings, so go figure. Okay, looking at crude oil, 32 and a quarter, 32.50, and it's really holding in well given the supply situation. Then 33, 33 and a quarter, sell 2, basically against 33. So 32 minus 33 plus market is where we are. Initial resistance is going to be basically against 32.50. On the support side, 31.25, 31.50, and 30.75, 31. Okay, on the E-mini, like we said, a much lower than forecast number is what I think will rally the E-mini. And we can just structurally, let's go back to F1 and take a look at that. That's probably a better way to see it. We have rejected prices above 1935, and we have rejected prices below 1985. 85 to 35 is 50 points, which is what you would expect. If we put all of this together, looking at a P with volume above time off the bottom, if we put it all together this way, definitely looking at a pretty pronounced B with a seller above 1925 and a buyer below 1865. And right here, go to the longest line of letters, I period. You can see we have an inside day. And why do we have an inside day? Because of today's non-farm payroll number. So on this one, we got a seller 20 to 25, and we've got a buyer 85 to 90. So that's how we're going to hit the news. And again, another news you have a trade 10 points, limit buy, limit sell, has worked out pretty well, but it can be 15, it can be 8, it can be 20. 10 points seems to be a place where people will pause the market or take profits. So 190 and 5% are what the market's really looking at. Then trade balance minus 43 will be lost in the news. And then Baker Hughes 850 last week. Don't know what it'll be this week, but probably reasonably close to that number. So non-farm payroll number 1, number 2 unemployment. It's where the whipsaw is between these two numbers. Quite often non-farm payroll number will come in as expected, and they'll get a different number on the unemployment, and that'll whipsaw off the news. So here we are. We're at 1909. Overnight session high is right under 15, so 14 to 15 would be sell 1. I think we get through the 15 area, we're going to get stops above that, so we've got this high over at 30, so we'll make 24, 29, sell 2. On the buy side, I think 96 to 01, buy 1. And then 85 to 90, buy 2. And that's where the numbers would be without news this morning. And again, we're recommending our Newsday trade entry unless you have a very, very strong feeling about the news and are in a position to trade less than normal size. Now, for a one-lot trader, that's pretty hard to do. Although I suppose you could go to a mini contract on the Dow and cut it in half or something like that. Guess it's possible. See you on the news, 20 minutes.